Oh, what's up, beautiful souls? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mamina. You can call me Mina for short, or Divine Star Seed. This is a pick a card collaboration with Smiling Mountain Lake Tarot, who reached out to me to do this collaboration, so thank you to her. Appreciations. And if you find that you love the vibe around here, should you be coming from her to me, please do subscribe, tap the little bell to be notified whenever new readings or lives are being done. And of course, if you want to see extended readings and exclusive content, you can subscribe to the Patreon below. Each tier explains what it's for. Without further ado, loves, we're going to hop into what this message is about. We are focusing on, what do your mystical guides want you to know? What do they want you to know right now? The mystical beings that are channeling from me here, we have with pile 1, the dragon energy, which works also with elemental vibration. We'll dive deeper into what's coming through, what's channeling once we get to the pile. Pile 2 is sacred elven energy, which works really good with the woods and forest vibrations, the mountains. And then when we get over here, we have the sacred mermaids, and the mermaids are for the shores, deep depth, and ocean sea energy. Now, I recommend that you choose based on which of these beings are calling to you. Do you already have them as your guides and familiars? Or do you resonate with their energy? Do you have any deities that are known to work with these elements or beings? That may also help you in your decision. And of course, you can always choose based on the figures, these handmade figures that you see here. Maybe you're drawn to the colors or backgrounds of the tarot cards. Before you make your decision, close your eyes. Inhale slowly for the count of 4. Hold the breath for 4. Slowly release for 4. So 444 is significant to each of these piles. Write the number down, add them up to a double and single digit, look up the meanings for each of those sets, and see how else it contributes to your message. More numbers could come out in your individual pile. So of course, in case that happens, write them down, look them up, and see how they resonate for you. I recommend that once you're done watching the reading here, that you head over to her channel and you check out her message. These collaborations tend to have synchronicities that flow as you make your decision. Feel free to pick whichever pile you want to if you're drawn to more than one. For example, here on my channel, I also recommend that you watch what your intuition leads you to first. Trust your first mind, your first intuition, separated from your opinion. Make sure that you are using your discernment throughout, because you are always responsible for your actions and reactions to any type of spiritual guidance. When you go over to her channel, feel free to choose whatever number resonates for you there. And I will see you at your pile, beautiful soul. Welcome, pile 1. Let's ring you in. You chose the dragon energy and also this gorgeous koi dragon. It's what you were drawn to possibly, or the back of the cards. The dragon energy channeling in here has a lot to do with treasure and protection, sacred treasure. I feel like treasure represents more than just the material thing. It represents sacred gifts within yourself. So certain spiritual gifts may channel through or stand out in this message, or anything that you have a talent for, whether it's known to you or not, contributes to your spiritual development as much as it does your material world. When you find the way to thread the spiritual into the material, you get into the harmony, you get into the high vibrational sets of life. Dragons also represent treasure in the sense of course, wealth. They are protectors of wells. You know, that's why a lot of times in legends, they're protecting dungeons. Not always dungeons. A lot of times they protect sacred palaces. So the energy of palace magic, palace coins could be significant here. Palace coins would be ancient money, ancient artifact type of energy. We'll see how it goes from there. We will be using my dragon familiars as we channel here. So I wouldn't be shocked if like Eli, or we'll see, because Eli already is standing out to me. Eli is my earth dragon. We also have Kaze, and Kaze is my wind baby. So we'll see what messages they have here for you. We'll get into the tarot first, and then we'll get into some oracles. You may also resonate with the energy of Kuan Yin. I call her Mama Kuan Yin. So the energy of her could be significant to you as well with choosing this pile. There's something about things being a bit messy, but maybe not a bad mess. More like like when kids are creating drawings and sometimes they'll just color out the lines on purpose and it comes out really artistic and pretty. There's something to that. Maybe you're meant to color outside the lines. Every now and then that energy pops up. Perhaps you're meant to be a little more playful, a little more messy. Again, not a bad messy, not drama messy. Just like things don't have to match all the time. Sometimes when things are mismatched, they match better. That'll make sense to who it needs to make sense to. Let's dive on into your message, Pile 1. Focusing on the dragons. I feel Eli first, so let's see what Eli wants to say. Oh, someone is fed up. I'm getting the energy of a person being fed up here with this 9 of Wands. Like, how much longer do I have to do this? How much longer is this trial gonna go on for? So some of you who chose Pile 1, you feel like you're going through some type of spiritual trial or test, maybe even a mental test at this time. Now, here's the amazing thing about Eli. For those of you who've been around with me for a long time, you've heard me channel Eli before. And he has this very strong, powerful resonating voice. It echoes off of the caves. And he tends to say, hold the line. And when he tells you to hold the line, which is what the 9 of Wands can be about, it's the wounded soldier that was left all alone, holding the fort up by themselves. And they sometimes straddle that fence of like, do I stay here? Do I keep holding this position? There's no one else here supporting me. There doesn't seem to be any help coming on the way. And I'm already exhausted as it is. So do I stay here? Or do I allow myself to move on and go to greener pastures? Sometimes the line that you're holding isn't a line that involves other people. The boundaries that you set don't have anything to do with what someone else wants you to do, but has everything to do with what you must realize within yourself. So for example, if you are a person that tends to do this, you let people stress you out, you let people put a lot of work upon you, you find yourself always going the extra mile, and not many are going the extra mile for you. When Eli says hold the line, he's not saying to continue to go the extra mile for those who have no grace towards that. They have no value towards it. They just allow you to do it. They take, they give nothing. They don't even receive. Some people aren't always in the position to give energetically or otherwise, but they are in the energy to receive. And receiving is its own kind of giving. When you receive, you accept the blessing with gratitude. The person that gave to you is automatically blessed either way, but their blessings multiply. And sometimes you're moved to pay it forward when the time comes, whether it's back to them or to a new energy. It creates this beautiful cycle. But when a person just takes, and gobbles up, they're greedy. They leave nothing. They're a glutton. They're never full because they're never satisfied because they're never grateful. He's not telling you to hold anything for those type of people. That second group, what he is saying is you need to set boundaries with people. You need to be very clear about how you want to be treated and what you're willing to do for somebody and what is a fair exchange to you. When you figure that out, you'll be able to maneuver through these different energies, and this so-called trial won't feel so complicated, won't feel so hard. It's hard right now because you're a very given person with this Queen of Cups energy. The Queen of Cups is very giving. She's very understanding. By no means is she a pushover. By no means is she someone that you can just rule. However, she understands heartache and heartbreak, and many a time she's given her heart and watched others trample all over it. Take her kindness for weakness. Now, if you take the Queen of Cups' kindness for weakness too long, she will turn into her other half, which is swords. People forget that. Swords is the inner workings to the Queen of Cups and vice versa. She's very compassionate, but her compassion doesn't mean that she's supposed to allow others to rule over her or manipulate her. So if you find that you are dealing with that energy where someone is trying to rule over you, trying to manipulate you, holding that line, setting a boundary of, you know what, I'm not going to allow you to continue to disrespect me. I'm not going to allow myself to keep lowering my standards just so I can fit in or just so I can get along. Get along with what's going on here in hopes that maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe tomorrow these people won't be so tough on me. No. That's not how it works. So Elon is telling you to hold the line when it comes to your sacred value, when it comes to understanding the treasure that is you. because you are a treasure. You may not have known this, but that is what you are. And you must value yourself like you are that sacred treasure, that sacred holy grail that others may seek, but not all will find. In the meantime, let go of that which is truly pulling you down and weighing you down. Let go of the people who purposefully hurt you. Let go of the circumstances that keep disappointing you. Stop giving disappointments the ability to disappoint. And I feel like for many of you, it's people. It's like individuals. Okay? It'll make sense to who it needs to make sense to. Let's dive deeper into the message. I feel like Kaze has something to say. So with Eli, though we have wands here, which is the fire energy, and we have the Queen of Cups here, which is the water energy, right? The gentle, kind side of yourself, the part of you that is, you know, feeling the pressure a little bit here, trying to escape, looking for an out, right? You are allowed to leave places that no longer serve you. You are allowed to hold the line for what is meant for you. And it's so interesting how the Nine of Wands always represents Eli, always comes out when he talks at some point or another. Now that we're moving into this energy of Kaze, he's more of the airy part of things, and he tends to be more free loving. We'll see how that goes. But Eli is the earth dragon, so this is what he wants you to get grounded with. Get grounded with understanding that you're a treasure. Get grounded with your sacred gifts. Okay, now let's see what my wind baby has to tell you. Oh, oh, they are just power one. They must be in love with you guys right now. We have coming out first the Chariot. This is a card that if you're used to my familiars, I have a couple, okay, when it comes to my dragons. He always comes out with some type of speedy card, whether it be the Chariot, which in my readings, the Chariot is not a slow ride at all. The Chariot is the ride of the champion, and it tends to come in 3 paces, right? First pace is when you are off to battle. You're speedy off to the battle. You're about to go conquer something. It's the Conqueror card. Conquer your fears. Conquer your doubts. Funny enough, we have the Moon card here. Conquering your fears. Conquering your doubts. No longer being afraid of the night, but instead seeing the night as a blessed secret that holds a lot of wisdom for you. It's trying to tell you something. It's trying to illuminate particular shadows. It's trying to illuminate particular items and things that you need to be aware of. So instead of being afraid of what's in that unknown space, you're being asked to follow the moon. Not the moon that reflects in the water, because that can be trickery. A little bit of trickery going on there, right? Sometimes what reflects in the water is a little distorted. And if you're not in the right mentality, you'll look at the distortions like they're truth, and you'll look at the parts that are actually the real you as if they're fragmented. So don't always look towards the moon's reflection in the water all the time. And normally if you were like a person who was being guided to scribe in water, I would tell you to look and see beyond the reflection of yourself. But for someone here, even if that's what you do, even if you're a water scriber, that is not what I'm being moved to tell you to do right now. I'm being moved to tell you to look towards the moon itself. Look up at the moon. It's going in different directions. Some of you live in locations where you feel like the moon is almost never in the same place twice. Like, you know where it's supposed to sit, and you feel like in the last couple of years it's kind of hopscotched around. Pay attention to the direction of where it sits. Look in that direction. Connect with your guides. Ask yourself, ask your ancestors, what is it you're trying to illuminate to me? Ask your guides. I consider your guides and your ancestors. While your ancestors can be guides, they're ancestors. They're bloodlines that have been here before you. Some of them will come from your current incarnation, and some, if the message is strong enough, will come from past incarnations. But your guides, just your spirit guides, they tend to be both beings, for example, that could be from a different realm, like what we're working with here. Dragon energy it's both earth realm and other realm. So you connect the two here when we're speaking to that energy. Or they could be immaterial beings that don't have a physical form, but they're represented in different ascended masters and etc. Either way, you're someone who's connected. You're really good at seeing beyond the veil. Sometimes you don't trust what you're supposed to see. Follow the direction of the moon. Now, it might lead you to some things that I'm hearing stranger than fiction. I'm trying to slow down my talk because it's at that point in a message where, like, especially when we're dealing with him, things get very fast. He's very fast. He talks like this, blah, 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 you know, but I'm trying to calm him down and talk a little slower. This energy is trying to show you maybe which direction to point when you're in meditation, and whom to connect with when you're in that. Sometimes it might be your ancestors that's calling, you'll point in a certain direction. Sometimes it'll be your spirit guides, whether they have form or no form, whether they're from another realm or some level of this realm. They'll connect and they'll give you the message you need at that time. You'll understand it as you work upon it. There's something here that they want you to put into practice. The chariot is moving in 3 paces for you. And that's interesting because it comes in 3 paces. The speedy off to handle business, off to conquer something. You conquering your fear is going to have a lot more gravity to it than what you're used to. But you'll find that as you are conquering, as you move, you start to get lighter and lighter and lighter. Your speed picks up pace. You go from simply being the chariot on the ground to being the chariot in the sky, floating across the sky. I'm seeing a bright gold, it's like a gold and jade color chariot. That is significant. So if you're out somewhere and you see like a figure that's on like a gold chariot, maybe it has little pieces of jade in it or a jade color, that's for you. To someone here in this pile, I'm seeing it as clear as day. You'll probably find it in a little shop. Yes, it's a very bright gold. It looks like it's just the chariot by itself, or that could just be all that they want me to see. Maybe there's a figure sitting on the chariot. Maybe it's a chariot featuring a particular deity. There are several deities that ride in on chariots, but this one would be associated to gold and jade. So pay close attention to that. Perhaps it's something that a person was thinking of getting custom or will get custom at some point. Those are your first 2 stages. Your third stage of the chariot is the victory lap. That's when, okay, you've gotten lighter, you've had your soar across the sky. Now you come back and you do your victory lap for the crowd to cheer you on. Because remember, the chariot energy is also recognition. People recognize the champion when he rides in or she rides in, right? So this is what you're being told. Also, there's a playfulness here in the moon energy with the 2 rabbits representing abundance and fertility. Playing with the lanterns in the sky, seeing the rabbit on the moon card here is significant for this group. We'll get a few more and then we'll get into the Kuan Yin messages. Wow. Wow, Power One. You don't understand how blessed you are. You have no idea. Mama herself came out. Mama Kuan Yin is here on the High Priestess card. You cannot make that up. Baby, y'all saw me shuffle. Okay? I call it like I see it. I'm just a channeler. Okay? Tarot is secondary. Channeling is first for me. She is here for you. She is completely here for you. If you are dealing with some level of uncertainty, whatever this spiritual trial is that you feel you're going through, rely, call on her. Someone here, you've been getting led to this energy for a long time, and you might have let a lot of different perceived boundaries get in the way of you connecting. Now understand that Kuan Yin has many names. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look into which province you might have been moved to or you come from, or different sets of Buddhism call her different things. So look that up and you'll see what her other names are. But right now, the name that I'm hearing, the reason I'm not mentioning the others is because the name coming through the strongest for me right now, and the name that I tend to work with, is Kuan Yin. However, again, she has many names. So some of you could already be working with her and you don't even know it. Look up the name of any female Buddhist, energy that you're working with, or deity energy that you're working with. And I'm telling you, the characteristics of that being will work with her. And obviously, be you masculine or feminine, she's here within you because we have the Queen of Cups here, who represents this kindness, the compassion. Kuan Yin represents kindness, compassion. She is one who, instead of going on over to the other side, she decided to stay and assist humans over and over again until all of humanity has been lifted. So there's something to this energy within you. There's a lot of passion ignited in your heart. Sometimes, you know, when you deal with uncertainty and you need this guiding presence, calling on a being such as her will open the door for guidance for you. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better confirmation to come out other than this. And the fact that the high priestess is represented in the moon, and you already had the moon come present here telling you, hey, look towards the moon. What is she standing in front of? I mean, you can't make that up. So even, especially if you live in a place where you feel like the moon keeps moving, one minute it was on this side, then it was on that side, and it's not a natural, or what you would think is a natural sequence of the moon. It actually is. We're going through shifting times. But for you in particular, when that stands out, whomever you are, look in that direction, call on this energy, or an energy who has characteristics, because you might be from a different culture, but understand this is a being that transcends cultural concepts. Most of them do. Humans have a tendency of wanting something to just stay restricted to one area. To each his own, right? No need to knock anyone else's practice. But when these beings are very true represented powers, they're not limited to one concept of culture. Kuan Yin has many names because she's not limited to one area, one region, one type. This energy is calling towards you. Something very beautiful is opening up in your heart space right now. You're already a champion. You just don't know it yet. You're a treasure, and the gifts and the treasures within you are coming through. Now, the high priestess also represents, of course, the intuitive nature of spirit, but also the mother of the cosmos. The mother of the cosmos is channeling through you and with you as much as is channeling to you. Through you and with you as much as is channeling to you. Connect. Let that bridge of connection come through. Don't allow any distortions. Hold the line with having boundaries with people who try to take advantage of your kindness, but do not lose your kindness. Simply offer it to those who are worthy of it. Okay? That's a very powerful message here for someone. We're going to dive right into her deck. Stop. Bottom. Let's look. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Swords. Come on now. New ideas, clarity, visions. Many of you are having visions, both in your waking state and your dream state. I say this a lot, and it's channeling again, so I have to point it out again. When you're sitting somewhere, especially if it's like maybe after you just had a vision, woke up from a dream, but even when it's not, if you are sitting somewhere and you start staring off into space, when that happens, something's trying to communicate. A being is trying to communicate to you. Maybe your own higher self is trying to communicate on a deep level with you. It's trying to tell you something in that moment. Take a deep breath, relax. You can do the 444 that was in the beginning. Some of you can do 777. 777, significant power one. Do that many breaths if you can. If you can't, count up to where you go, where you can, and then build up to that 7 eventually. Focus yourself and then ask, what are you trying to tell me? What is it I must see? What is it I must hear? Let the signs and the synchronicities come through, because baby, they will come through. And you can't make it up. I told you, you are meant to be the victor, the champion. You already are. You're just in different paces. Like Kaze said, you're in different paces. Okay? Kaze's like, look, first you start off on the ground, going fast. The hooves are galloping, galloping, galloping. I'm going to let him talk because it's easier. The horses are galloping, galloping, galloping. They're going faster, faster, faster. You're riding off into the thing you need to conquer. You get there, you conquer it. Every time you conquer a different level up that mountain, you go higher and higher. Now you're in the sky. The hooves are no longer on the ground, but the thunder of their sound doesn't cease. The thunder of their sound still persists, because this is the strength of your magnetic ability. The thunder is in you. The lightning's within you. The air is a part of you. You ride that wind. You ride that thunder. You reach the point where now you've succeeded. You've never been out of the sky. Never been out of the sky. You just thought that was an illusion. That was a misperception. You've always been a part of the air. You've always been a part of the lightning. Be the lightning, be the air. Now you lower yourself to the ground, but you're not really lowering yourself. You're simply regrounding yourself. Now you do your victory lap. Your victory lap, you can pace a little bit slower, but the speed is still there. The momentum is still there. It's just enough for people to now see you. Couldn't see you before. You were too fast, too fast, too fast, but now they see you. Thank you, Kaze. Thank you. Thank you, Kaze. So with that being said, my loves, he's cheesing. You just imagine like a big big, bright red dragon just cheesing hardcore. Like, yeah, you get it, you got it, you understand. He's saying, you understand, you got it. For who's meant to get it, you will get it in time. Okay? But you're the champion here. You're the one who receives that victory lap. You have 2 cards here representing that victory lap, representing how you're getting over the hardships because you set the right boundaries. You didn't lose your kindness, you stayed connected with it. Instead of seeing what's happened to you as something that puts you in a victim, mentality or position, you're seeing it as something that helps you grow and expand. With the moon energy and this Ace of Swords, you looked at the moon, you followed the pattern, even when everybody might have told you you're crazy. You're crazy for following that moon, that crazy moon. You followed the moon anyway. It guided you to where you needed to be. It helped you to connect with your guides. This isn't a trial as much as you think it is. You've already passed the trial. You've already passed and maybe paid off some type of karmic debt. Now you must realize who you are. That is the only thing that's off here, is that you don't know who you are. Not really. Who you are is not limited to just your cultural background, the name that you were given at birth. Who you are is a soul thing. It's a spirit thing. It's that thing that stays constant and true and pure no matter which lifetime you go through. And in each lifetime, you're purging something. In each phase of existence, you purge what no longer belongs. But you must get closer and closer and closer to knowing who you are and what you are. And Kuan Yin is calling my attention, so I'm gonna have my wind baby take a break so we can go head on and get into Kuan Yin. It's been a while since I've had to channel those 2 for the collective. I work with them, but bringing them in for the collective, I have to try to pace what I say so I can make sure it makes sense. I try to also get out the way. When you're channeling guides, you have to remember to get out the way and let them talk, let them do what they do, right? Wow. Sacred river. Wow. Okay. Number 25 is on that card. Also significant. Oop, that's too many, mama. That's too many. Let's just get 3. Yeah, she's got a lot to say to you guys. Ooh, turquoise lotus. Number 12. Wait, is that 12? No, that's 42. Dynasty of the Divine Mother. We're going to work with these 3 first. Remember how he kept talking about the air, the thunder, the lightning, the air. You're the air in the sky. Notice how she looks like a mist. Like she just materialized out of this mist. Always there, always ever present, but now can become more real, can become more solid. Treasures from within, activating in the material world, bearing material results, but always staying very connected to spirit. When you come back down to the ground, you're not lowering who you are. You're not lowering your standards. You're just bringing from the heavens down to earth what's necessary. Okay? We all know that the lotus grows out of the mud. The lotus grows out of that which most people consider to be unclean. Mud is the most healing energy. Sacred mud, this is why people do mud baths. It's a very healing energy. There's something to that here. Something to realizing no matter where you come from, no matter what you've grown out of, right? You're like the lotus. You're this beautiful thing coming out of what others would typically disregard or see as basic, it's rudimentary, or even ugly. You're this beautiful thing that grows out of that, the evidence of how sacred such a place is, how sacred such an energy is. Now, let's say you didn't grow up in the best of places. I'm sure you guys, you've heard that phrase. It comes from a Tupac song, a rose and through the concrete. You're like the rose that came through the concrete, but even more powerful because you're the lotus. Right? And even more powerful because you come from the mud. You come from something that is already of this earth, something that is already beautiful and sacred and has a healing property. Many of you in this group are healers. That's a huge part of your gift. Whatever it is you do, it has some type of property towards healing in it. Okay? And if you think about it, there is a lot of mama bear energy around you guys. You could be mothers. We're in the year of the 8, and this card is number 8. These numbers are significant: 25, 42, and 8. You can add them up together, take them down to a double and single digit. You keep adding them up until you take them down to their double or single digits and see what other messages are here for you. But with the Queen of Cups here, that too is a mother energy. Even if you're a masculine, there is something nourishing and maternal about you, in your nature, in your essence. People are drawn to your kindness. People are drawn to your healing effect, the divine feminine nature within yourself. If you're a masculine, you must respect this feminine energy within you. There could be a feminine coming in your life, whether it be a lover. If it's a lover, the lover's not coming in to be your mama, but is coming in with that nourishing, caring vibration that you need at this time. Be open for it, be open to it. If you are a feminine, connect with this. So I would actually I would actually recommend a lot of womb work, working with the womb, channeling with the womb. If you're a sacred couple and you already do a lot of sacred sexual energy, channel through the womb. Very important, very sacred. But there's a lot of mother vibration, the dynasty of the divine mother. I'm going to actually look each one of these up and read just a little bit. I only go to the books when I'm guided. And for Kuan Yin, I feel like that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go to 25. The sacred river eternally flows and changes. Just as the river flows and changes course, you too are evolving in your divine path. Veils and stealths that once covered your soul's light are being washed away. Cleansed by sacred waters. Wow. Guys, think about that. Think about that. Cleansed by sacred waters. There's water in the background of this image. You're holding a more respectful position for yourself. What does the moon control? The tides. What is tides? Water. So automatically, water it's sacred here for you, but I keep hearing, don't look at the water's reflection to channel the message. Look at what moves the tides itself. That's powerful. Gaze at the moon, Kuan Yin energy in this case, and let that be your beacon, because that's what's controlling the tides and the cycles. You're going through a cycle right now, the 3 stages of the chariot, the 3 speed sets. So they were very, very right on the money when they said that, 3 speed sets, okay? Pretty much your emotional life and your physical life is going in a new direction. It's being purified and healed because of these changes from within. Let's go to number 42. I might edit out some of these long pauses as I'm trying to find the pages. Turquoise lotus. Turquoise lotus brings precious healing to you now. Allow yourself to be lifted out of your struggle, beloved one. An old pattern is finally in its death. Wow, guys. What were we talking about in the beginning when Eli said, hold the line? Why do you feel so tired? You're going through this trial because some of you feel like you either keep giving to people or doing things. It's not paying off. It doesn't seem, it's like people keep taking advantage of you, or you give your all to something and you don't get that same kind of courtesy back from a situation or a person. And Eli said, okay, we'll hold the line. Not for them though. You're not meant to hold space and position for those who don't give you grace. There are others who will give you grace that you can hold that for. Instead, set boundaries. No longer tolerate what isn't serving you. Move forward. Don't feel ashamed for putting up protection for yourself and saying, hey, I'm not going to let y'all walk all over me. I'm a sacred treasure. I matter. So I'm not going to just let any and everybody in this space, whether the space is your body, your mind, or your spirit. You don't just let any and everyone in. You become selective. Now, we're not telling you to be egotistical and crazy. Ego has 2 sides of itself. It has the confident and it has the cocky. We're not telling you to be cocky. We're telling you to be confident. Know who you are. Remember who you are. Past your name, past just your lineage, past even just your cultural upbringing. Remember who you are and what your mission is on this planet. You might have many, but whatever they all connect to the same sense of gravity, which is 1, your gifts and talents. 2, how your gifts and talents help to heal the world. Like I said, this is a group of healers. And in order to be healers, you too must allow yourself to heal. You can't just give and let people take, okay? Very important here. That's the part that I'm feeling. Wait, she's leading me to another part. Your past has a heaviness in it. This is true. This can be one of the most testing times to allow something to go, just when it seems to be so demanding of your time and focus and attention. Yet do not doubt, you have actually learnt the lessons. I said that in the beginning. It required for you. Now you are being blessed with an opportunity to release and receive karmic healing. Listen, I said that in the beginning, child. And again, I'll try to edit out all the pauses. It's just like a quick summary of what that little section was. That's what I'm going to keep doing throughout. Unless she, leads me to read the whole little summary. But otherwise, I give you the quick version of it. Now we're going to get into Wild Kuan Yin. Oh, Lord, I got to take them. I was trying to stick to 3. She gave us 4. Okay. We got to listen to Mama. It is what it is. Ooh, we have number 9. Remember me, the Divine Mother within. I can't. I want you guys to pause this video and just meditate on this energy, because you have 3 things happening in this energy. If any of you dealt with any type of issue when it comes to healing from a mother wound, meaning you didn't have a great relationship with female figures in your life, be them mom, aunties, whatever, this is a healing picture. Look at how this mother's playing with this child. That's a healing thing. If you yourself, you're a mom and you're trying to make sure that you stay connected, or you reconnect to your children, connecting to a youthful part of yourself and healing whatever comes from that is significant. Again, you feel like you're going through some type of trial, but you're being told you passed already. But you have to accept that you passed. And in order to do that, you have to let go of anything that hinders that understanding. In this one card, we have Divine Mother healing, we have inner child healing, and for those of you who could be mommies to be, we have future mother healing. All happening in one energy right now. That is phenomenal. We have Harvest Mother watches over me. What? What else y'all want me to say? What can I say? I find it funny that my 2 dragons that spoke were masculine energy, opening the door for this mother energy to channel through. That's also significant. The mother is the lesson here. The mother is the blessing here. The mother is the healer here. But the masculine helped to open the door. The masculine energy came in as the protector to help push the door open. Because what do we find that some sons are very protective of? Their mothers, right? Or a female figure in their life. There's a lot of healing happening here in this group when it comes to mother energy. If you did not have a great mother growing up, somebody is coming in your life that just has this beautiful healing effect on you. You don't have to see them as a mom, but they have this type of effect, and they are coming in some type of female form and energy. Whether they come in as an energy first and then eventually it's a woman that shows up in your life. Remember to have an openness to this vibration. You'll know who it is, and you'll know. They're not going to lead you down any type of wrong path. But most of all, this is you connecting to the inner divine feminine within yourself, who is the healer in you, whether you are man or woman. This is the healer in you. Okay? We have Grandmother Dragonfly holds the wisdom. And like I said, some of you have ancestors present. Your ancestors give you guides. They give you guidance and assistance here just as much as the other ethereal beings do. And then we have Desert Harvest. And intuitively, what I'm getting from this energy for you, for this collective, just when you thought you were in the middle of nowhere, you had nothing left to offer, and if you did, people just take advantage of it. What more can you give? What more is left? There's always space to harvest. There's always space to replenish. We have to be willing to let go and leave spaces and places that no longer serve us so that we can rise into the highest vibration of who we are. And sometimes we will find that when we look around and we think that there is nothing here, we are the bringers of the something. If you are a healer, you may find that you come across many a desert that you'll find yourself replenishing. You'll find yourself growing something there when no one else could get anything there to grow. You will have that ability because you are tapping into the wisdom of your grandmothers. You are tapping into the wisdom of Mother Earth. You're allowing the mother to watch over you and give you the signs and the synchronicities. It's kind of like for some of you, you might feel sometimes that you've moved to a nowhere town, or you come from a nowhere town and you wanted to go out in the big city because you wanted to be around a whole lot of energy. Wherever you go, if there is some type of imbalance, you bring the balance. You're not here to be misused or mistreated, though. When you give grace, grace is also meant to be given to you. Equal exchange. Fair exchange. Sometimes fair exchange means some may give a little more, some may give a little less. It's all depending on what it is they have to give and the capacity in which they can give it. Do not try to force someone who's already a desert to bear something for you that they don't have the capacity to. Right? Remember that you are this overflowing, abundant being. You bring the water. You bring the healing. You don't need the desert to try to grow something from itself. You simply bring and put your hands on the soil and watch what happens. Now, that analogy is meant to be for someone here that it's very specific. Maybe you live out in the desert. Maybe you're like here, it could be Nevada. You could be from like Saudi Arabia for all I know. Wherever you're from, if you live in a space where there's desert, I want you to understand that your presence is the healing energy. Your vibration can make waterfalls appear where there were none. Whether this be metaphorically or whether this is actually an ability that you have with your own hands, is up for you to discover. The message makes sense where it needs to make sense for you. If it doesn't right now, it will in time. Again, follow the moon. Pile 1. Whoo, your reading went there, my love. Your reading went there. I pray that this resonated for you. It gave you the clarity that you needed on a situation. If nothing else, that it helped you to remember that you are a treasure and that you should value yourself as such, that you have protectors, and you too should be willing to protect yourself. Not close yourself off from anyone, but simply walk with that grace and that power in mind. Walk with the power of the champion. Walk with the power of the one who's conquered their fears. Peace, love, and light, beautiful soul. All right, pile 2, let's ring you in. Pile 2, you chose this gorgeous baby here and the elven, sacred elven energy. Let's see what the message is for you. I definitely feel your connection with nature is very significant here, which also gives me this vibe that there's something you're either breaking free of, or you're just tapping into like a bolder, stronger version of yourself. You could have been someone that was in solitude for a while, or just a bit of a loner. You're very good at keeping to yourself. That makes sense. Not that you don't assist when need to, or that you're not willing to ask questions or even answer questions. But if you had the choice between going out with a big crowd, some of you who chose this pile will gladly just stay home. You know what I mean? Like, it's giving Virgo energy, it's giving like even Taurus energy. But you're going to find, especially this summer, your move to get out more, your move to do more, your move to connect with the outdoors. So whether it's going to like a park, actually hiking somewhere, or even, you know, for those of you who have the means, getting like a cabin, just vacationing. I feel like some of you are going to feel compelled to leave your current surroundings. Okay? It doesn't have to be too far. I'm not telling you that you have to hop on a plane or even a train. You can just get in your car or get like an Uber and drive, 45 minutes out somewhere. But there's something to this energy of you exploring. You're coming out of hermit mode and you're going into your exploring mode. There's a lot that you're going to discover about yourself. There's a lot of bold moves you're going to feel compelled to make. Now, summer is significant, but do not think that everything is going to simply happen over this summer timeline. Fall and winter is significant for you. Some people go into hibernation during the winter seasons, because for some places it's colder outside and people find themselves doing more things indoor. I feel like even if you're indoor, you're going to be very active this winter. So just be, aware of that. Don't base everything having to take off in the summer alone. Fall is significant. Some of you are moving. You wanted to move in the summer. It's going to be the fall. Okay? Follow the synchronicities. Trust your intuition. Use your discernment. Don't try to force anything. Don't try to make something be what you want it to be. Let it show itself to you as what it is. Not what you want it to be, but what it is. All right? There's a lot of sacred wisdom here. I feel like some of you really need to get your hands on a tree. Hug a tree. Find a place where you can safely be barefoot and put your feet on the roots of a tree. I mean, like, really allow your feet to hit the stomp. Now, I feel like some of you may notice a lot of animals are drawn to you during this time. Even if you're not much of an animal person, that's about to change for some of you. If you have a fear of a particular, like, dog or whatever, you're going to find yourself slowly getting over that fear, because nature is calling to you in more than one way. You're going to start noticing these different shifts in the wind, these different shifts in the earth and whatnot. It's very, very important for somebody here. Let's just dive right on in. Let's see what elven wisdom. Something's calling you from the top of the mountain to come up here, explore up here. Wow. Wow. Well, okay then. There's definitely something that you're breaking free of for sure. For sure. We're going to hold this one off here because it flipped that way. We're going to get into these two. What did I just say? Something's calling you from the top of the mountain. Come up here. Come up here. Now, this is a tree. And I just said you need to get to a tree. You need to hug a tree. Put your feet on the roots of a tree or the grass where some tree is. Listen, maybe you got a big behind tree in your backyard. Maybe you have a relative you're going to visit and they live out in nature. You're like, oh my gosh, they got trees and waterfalls right near where they are. I don't know why I said waterfalls. I'm just channeling. Waterfalls are significant as well. Not to chase them, but if they're around, if you hear the waters, that could be significant. Maybe you're meant to meditate to these sounds as well. If you listen, don't give excuses. Some of you are very quick to go, I live in the city, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear all that. Put on some type of nature sound. Remove the limitations of your mind. And do not be shocked when different opportunities come towards you to go places where nature is abundant. There is always some place around you where there's nature. I don't care if you live in New York City. There's upper parts of New York. There's Jersey. There's other places. If you live somewhere overseas, there's some trees around you somewhere. Find them, okay? Or rather, allow yourself to be guided to them. Don't ignore when you're feeling the pull to just sit at the base of a tree for some reason. It's necessary. Now, one of the reasons that I feel that this is necessary is because this is the tree that you're meant to be in, not that one over there, even though we see the ladder. Don't fall for the false adventure. Don't fall for the false guidance. The thing that tells you, hey, come this way, but everything that it's requiring of you somehow is out of your divinity, it takes you out of your element in the sense that it lowers your standard of your magic or who you are. You were meant to be different. Embrace that different. A lot of times you don't want to hang out with certain crowds because you know what they're about. So you'll go and stick to yourself. Remember, I said somebody here is one of solitude. You're being asked to come out of that solitude, but first, look up. See that cup right there? That that represents soul family and soul tribe that's coming towards you right now as we speak. As you receive this message, whenever you receive this message, it's timeless. But as you hear this message, you're being called. Psst, hey, up here. My grandmother had this expression. She used to play this game where she would take, especially in the summer, she'd have like a bottle of water and she'll hold it over the head. She'd go, heavy, heavy, hanging over your head. And if you looked up, psh, the water. It was a trick to get you to look up, right? In this sense, it's like your spirit team trying to douse you with cleansing water. You might have been a group that was drawn to pile one. This is your sign if you were. But that is neither here nor there right now. Bottom line is you're being told to look up. That's where the treasure is. That's where the blessing is. Look up there. That's where the soul family and the guidance is coming from. You've been kind of just like staying to yourself. And for others, when you go out, You don't feel a part of the crowd that you're hanging out with. You don't want to do every little thing that they want to. There's a reason for that. Now, you're going to have to dive deep to make sure that it's not some vanity thing, that it's not some, oh, well, in my opinion, they just don't. We're not here to talk about your opinions and your assumptions. We're not here to make an ass of you and me. What we're here to do is tap into the inner guidance and wisdom, and it's channeling through me so that you can get that nudge that you needed. You already know what this is about. If you don't know the words for it, perhaps this message will help you. But get to that tree. Don't worry about what didn't work out before. Don't worry about all of this down here. These were just the steps necessary to get you there. I feel like you're being called from a mountaintop. So that says to me, whatever is guiding you, it's representing high elevation. And for whatever reason, a tree's connected to that. Now, we stayed on that long enough. This is the Four of Cups. Don't ignore that call. You don't have to go participate with those who you feel, yeah, they're kind of over there, but I'm just not guided to this group. They don't do things that I'm really vibing with right now. Okay, cool. But wherever you get led, expect there to be some type of soul family, soul tribe connection that's going to have you moving a lot bolder. Perhaps the bold thing is some of you breaking free of certain crowds and groups that you used to hang with and people. Okay? You got to give yourself the ability to shine. You're this big, bright energy that is used to kind of sitting in the shadows or hiding a lot of your talents and gifts out of fear, especially. So some of you, I don't feel that you're necessarily newly awakened to spirituality, but you're probably similar to how I was at one point, where you have these gifts, you have these talents, you see the synchronicities, you pick up things, but you don't tell nobody. You know, if you do, it's people that you really care about, that you're really connected to. You don't do things like this where you sit down and express all the different visions and insights and beings that are talking to you. And some of you don't do this because you think people are going to find you crazy, but because you might have had that experience where when something about you was revealed, some type of talent, some type of gift, people wanted to use it, right? Either they wanted to use it or mock you for it. Right? The real tricky ones are the ones who will mock you in some sense, or, oh, yeah, okay, whatever, you believe in that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Turn right around when something you say comes to pass and say, hey, can you tell me what lottery number is going to hit next week? If they're old head, they'll probably ask you for lottery numbers. If it's a young person, they'll probably be like, who am I taking to on a date next week or something? You know what I mean? Like, they start trying to, and they'll do this in really sneaky ways. You've probably had this happen with groups that were so-called friends in the past, as they would come to you and ask you things to get your intuition, to get your insight, but they ask you in like a roundabout way. We always notice when this happens. To anyone who's ever remotely tried it, we always notice when that's what they're doing. We still give the answer that is, it's not revealing everything. It's what we're cool with saying. It's the same type of answer they would have gotten if they had asked any other random friend. They just don't always know that. And that's not our problem, that they don't always know that. But Spirit is saying, listen, you're meant to come out of this shell that you've put yourself in. Now be careful, because if you don't heed what they're saying, they're going to just drop kick you into things. That's how I got into doing this. Right? They literally had me buy an oracle deck that I thought was a book, because for all purposes, they didn't show no cards. They just literally showed like a book. So I'm thinking I'm getting a book, and it was a whole oracle deck, which was their way of being like, remember that thing we said we were going to make you do? Yeah, get to that. So you might find that if you keep trying to avoid what you're being guided to do out of the whole, well, I don't want people to misuse my gifts, then don't let them. Child, it's really that simple. Don't let them. Don't believe me, just watch. Okay? If you ever see me on live, if you see somebody come up in that chat talking about, the other day, I'm going to give you an example because it's channeling through to give. I was on a friend's live, and this person comes in, very demanding. I want a reading. That was the feeling that came off of it to me. I'm not sure what they felt, but to me, the energy behind what they typed was demanding and suspicious. I didn't say anything. Wasn't my place to, wasn't my live, I wasn't moderating at the time. Then they said, I want my reading now, because she explained, this is how you get it from me. Once again, confirmation of that demanding energy, to which point now I can speak up as the friend, because I'm that friend, right? So hey, you know that person? Because first I got to make sure this ain't somebody that y'all don't have some type of, situation going on. Nonetheless, the energy is what it is. It felt demanding. No, I don't know that person. That's why I'm ignoring them. You know what? Let me make you moderator. As soon as I was made moderator, I proceed to delete the messages, block this person. I don't play about that in my space. If I read that message, if you come up in my space with that type of energy, you're corrected from the door. What you tolerate is what you get. When you start realizing that people are coming in your space to take advantage of your gifts or to try to make a mockery of it, two things are going to happen. Certain people will read them for filth. But see, to me, that's giving free service. That ain't, everybody don't deserve that read for filth. Some people don't. That takes time. It takes time from other people to read somebody for filth sometimes, right? Some deserve it. Some aren't worth the it's just not worth it. You simply block and you move on. You delete and you move on. And you help those that are coming towards you, or connect with those that are coming towards you that are worthy of it. That's simple. You do not leave room for misrepresentation. It's not being cruel. It's not a matter of being overly nice or anything. You're simply setting the tone for your space. If you have a friendship group that doesn't honor you, but they're cool with always asking you for stuff, hey, I'm telling you, some of y'all, I'm not going to say too much, but some of y'all might resonate with Pile 1, okay? This feels, for certain people in Pile 1, this feels like your part 2. A deeper look at you here. A deeper look at why certain things might have been happening the way they were. And for those of you where you have these talents and gifts, you're very aware of them. They've always been there. But you kind of nitpick who you share them with based on who you believe will be respectful. Spirit is saying, that's not what I gave you this for. I gave you this so that you could present these things to the world. Now, you don't have to necessarily be on a stage or a platform per se. But when you're in certain situations and you're guided to do something, and you know that that's coming from your higher self and the divine itself, follow that star. This is for your healing as much as it is for someone else's. So once again, we have this energy of great healing, but also great prosperity, because the star isn't always just about some distant celestial being that's coming in with blessings and wants you to cleanse. I always say the star is a cleansing card. You're cleansing to receive the wish fulfillment, a wish that you've been waiting for, that's calling to you and whispering to you right above your head. Heavy, heavy hanging over your head is your own dreams, wishes, and aspirations, right? But it's also saying you're the star. You're the light in the lantern. In the Hermit card. In the Hermit card, that light in the lantern is a star. Sometimes it's a sun, right? You're that light, and you are simply following it to your greatest destiny, to your greatest potential. Don't sleep on that. Notice too how this figure sort of looks like a tree in a mountain, right? Trees and mountains are significant here for you. Do some vision seeking with that. We have the Knight of Cups. The Holy Grail is in your hand. What's coming towards you and what you have to offer is a great thing. You don't need to seek too far for that which is already within you. Some of this time alone was for you to grow to understand that, but some of you took that time alone. Some of you took that solitude in whatever form you did it in. You took it as a way to kind of distance from people, to have a disconnection. I am not telling you to have attachments. In fact, I'll be the first to tell you, get rid of attachments. Get rid of means you let go feeling that you have to be attached to people, places, and outcomes. However, when the energy is just and right, you stay connected. Attachment and connection are two different things. I can be very connected to nature, the world around me, the space, the cosmos. I'm a multidimensional being. I'm connected to multidimensional things. By no means am I attached to any one form of what any of those things are. So it gives me the space to constantly expand and grow, go within and dig more deep depths without, expand further out into the stratosphere, because I don't have anything that holds me back. When I am met with something, a thought, a process, a person, a place, a thing that tries to create a block, I allow myself to go within to see, why did that thing even think that it was capable to do it? Because 9 times out of 10, there could be something within me that was wired a little funny, and I need to get in there and fix that. Some type of programming that I need to overwrite and get rid of. Once it's rid of, I then begin the process of going, okay, now what was the intention of this outside thing? Was it just because something was wonky within me that I had to heal, or is that an op? Right? And every time I identify what it is, I get over whatever the hell that hiccup was faster, at my own pace in the first part of that process. But once everything is realized, oh, it's a piece of cake after that. When you look in that cup, what's in that cup? That's the eternal water of wisdom for you. It's every emotion, every dream already on the journey. Unlike in the page where it's a surprise and it's like, oh my God, I have this thing and whoa, what am I gonna do with it? Can I do anything with it? It'd be really cool if I can. The knight already knows what they can do. This is the knight that dreams the dreams that he makes into a reality every day. You cannot tell this knight that he isn't living the best life. He loves endlessly. Now sometimes people see the Knight of Cups as, player, lady slayer, and sometimes for some people he is, but in many cases he is simply a person who is very soulful, very deep. He sees deeper meaning in things when others don't. He don't have to talk your ear off about it, but best believe when you're in his presence, or in this, if it's a woman's presence, whoever, you're going to get that type of insight. You're going to get those deeper messages. And he's very bold in how he presents his love to somebody because he knows what's in this cup is the best. Now this knight, and I always point this out, he's looking ahead. He's not looking in the cup, so he's not second guessing what he has. He's not operating from a sense of vanity because he's not holding the cup up in front of his face and staring at it as if he's looking at his own reflection, kind of like, look at me, I'm so pretty. Instead, he's focused on where he's being led, the place he's taking that cup to. Who is worthy of this gift? Who is worthy of this level of communication? Who is it that I want to share these dreams and goals and aspirations with? Maybe at first it's another version of himself, but eventually, when he gets to where he goes, he'll know what to say, he'll know what to do. Because the knights are always on the move, but when they reach their destination and they're operating from divinity, they always know what they're doing and why they're there. They just have different methods of how they get there. This is important. I feel like for many of you, you're that knight. You're the person that as you do these bold moves, you're going to find yourself in spaces and places where you might have been like, I don't know how to talk to these people. All of a sudden, you know what to say. I don't know how to express this dream. All of a sudden, you do. You know what I mean? You're moving boldly, but how can I put it? You're moving boldly, but calm, because this is a calm knight. He's not super slow, but he's calm. He ain't got to rush anything. He doesn't rush in what he talks about. He doesn't rush in his moves. He's very smooth, So you might find yourself being a bit of a smooth operator here. Now, for some of you, maybe that means in love, but for most, I feel like this is personal growth, to be honest with you. Okay. We have the King of Swords, and for some of you, I feel like you're escaping a King of Swords. You're escaping some type of overbearing, cold-hearted energy. And in a sense, learning how to be more disciplined within yourself. This is a very disciplined king. He can be the king of discipline, and he can be a disciplined king. Sometimes he's all the above. For some of you, this is a person that was overbearing on you, probably demanded a whole lot from you and really didn't exist, whether this is a father figure, an ex-lover, whatever. As you step into the divinity version of this energy, what is that? This is a king of strategy. This is a king who has great wisdom and intellect. The intellectual you must not get in the way of the spiritual you. You have to see how they're connected and how they're one and the same. You have to be able to see that. Otherwise, you'll find yourself being a mirror of that which you're trying to escape from. These piles. Lord. This is what happens when you go a while without without doing these kind of readings. They just go into hyperdrive. I feel like this is confirmation if some of you felt the need to watch pile 1 to watch pile 1. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's the last time I'm gonna bring it up. We have 2 of Pentacles. You are getting things in order. You are learning how to control yourself. You are learning how to master moving within chaos a little bit here. Because some of you, in order to get out of the chaos, you first must learn how to maneuver through it. Notice how in this picture there's kind of like there's mountains and rubble all blown around. There's this very chaotic scene. Pay attention though. She is controlling the elements within that space, and none of the rubble is hitting her. None of the rubble is touching her. So be you masculine or feminine, you're being drawn to bring things into harmony, to bring things into perspective. Use your abilities, use your gifts. This is the time to do so. Your talents and your gifts are going to be huge in this world. This world is starting to shift and change more and more every day. Some things are already changed. I told y'all a couple of years ago, there are no more veils really. Only the illusion that there's a veil. Once you remove the illusion from the mind, you see everything else that was hidden from you at that time. And there are people who are rising to the occasion. You're being told to answer your calling. And yes, it will have you putting yourself out there to some extent. Whether it's talking to new people in places you wouldn't have done it before. Whatever it is, however it is, we're not going to rehash the same message. You get it? You get it, okay? But you're being told to use this ability. The wisdom it's within you already. You just needed to come across the content, the words, the people, the situations that would help to awaken it within you, not dictate it. For example, I'm not here to dictate to you what you can and cannot do, but I will remind you what you're capable of. I will help guide you to the things that bring it into the forefront. Now, your mind, that's where stuff is going to get tricky, because your mind has to separate what it thought it knew, what it believed to be true, to accept what truly is happening in the moment. And your actions are only up to you, and your decisions are only up to you, because quite frankly, I nor anyone else will be affected by it. Only you. You have to get to the point where your intuition is so potent and you are so connected to it that you no longer question it. You simply allow yourself to be in flow with it. And when you're guided to receive a certain message, you take that message, you let it rattle around the brain, you use your discernment, you take what's really meant for you or what's calling to you the most, and you see where you can apply it. You test things out, you go through the trial and error, but eventually you figure out the formula, you get things in balance, and then you see it reflect in your material world. You no longer need to juggle unnecessary things, but you do need to tap into the power of how you bring order to the chaos in your world. Okay? Once you do that, you have the clarity that is necessary. You have the success. I want you to notice how there's vines growing around this sword, as if this person pulled this sword not out of a stone, but out of a tree trunk. The knowledge is in the trees, my friend. The knowledge is in the trees. Something is calling you. That sword that belonged to a false king is yours. You have to take it back. You take it back not by fighting this person, but by allowing your inner magic to finally flow out of you and speak. Let's hop right on into your oracle decks here. The wolf's energy is very significant. Again, like a lone wolf finding their pack type of vibe. I will always say practice your alchemy and your practice your magical alchemy with caution, not fear. Caution isn't fear. Caution is I'm simply paying attention to what I'm doing and making sure that I'm adding things up correctly. For example, people who have to deal with very high, I don't even want to say toxic. People who have to deal with certain herbs, right? They can't be afraid of the herbs that they know they have to work with every day. But they know that not all herbs that can be mixed together without it becoming a toxin, or maybe even lessening some of the properties. So what they do is they learn. They cautiously learn. They pay attention. Because they're cautious, it means they're paying attention. They get, okay, this herb will work with that one, but not so much that one. If I mix it with that one, it turns into a poison. This is what you're learning to do. If you were walking up this mountain and it had no bars, no railing, right? And as you walk up the mountain, what would you do? You'd be cautious of your steps. Not fearful, but hey, let me pay attention to where I'm stepping here and not get distracted talking to my friend behind me that I slip and fall off the side of this dang mountain, right? Pay attention to what you're doing. Be mindful of how you're led to do something. Make sure that I normally say masculine version of the logical brain, the thing that says, oh, black and white all the time, make sure that's not getting in the way. All right? It's very important, pal, too. I feel like 4s and 2s are significant for you here. 4s and 2s. So the 444 in the beginning, and then 4s and 2s like 42, 24, significant for you. Certain things could have happened in your life at 24 years of age. What messages do we have for you, pal, too? What is the wolf energy, the light energy wants you to know? Wow. We have some, 333, 33 and 333 are also significant here. This is the white light oracle, but it's channeling through for you guys also with wolf energy. I recommend listening to this hertz, the 528 hertz. Okay, again, connecting with your heart. something that you were shying away from. And with these gifts come from the innermost deep part of your soul. Your heart is how you learn to express it. When the heart isn't fully in what you're doing, it gets hard to communicate it. Or you'll constantly second guess what it is you're trying to communicate from that heart space because you're trying to shy away from it or look away from it. Spirit is saying turn around and face it. Tap into the heart. Tap into the frequency of the heart energy and express from that space. You cannot go wrong with that. Whatever you feel you lack, study up on it. Research it. Get into the scholar mentality. Be the scholar. Be the person who looks up, because I'm telling you, you're going to be put in a position where whatever you master, you're going to find yourself teaching it. Okay, not so that people can take advantage of you, but so that you can contribute to the changes that are happening around you. And you have to be prepared to be in that tranquil state, to have that. I'm hearing the eye of the tiger, funny enough. I'm hearing the eye of the tiger is significant. You have to have that go-getter, that once my focus is on something, you can't deter me from it. Right? For as long as I'm being guided to focus on that thing, you can't deter me. That's where someone has to be in their mental space. Okay, sovereign queen, listen. Put on your crown. Your crown was made just for you. As things become clear, as you pull that sword out of the trunk of that tree, out of the vines, you unravel your mind. You unravel your gifts. You can only be successful. You get rid of doubts and confusion. I feel like they want me to go to the book on this one. I might edit out like the pauses to find the placements in the book. We have the number 17 here, but I'm feeling, again, that the 4s and the 2s are significant, and we have 528 here. There's a 2 popping up even in this number. 333 is significant as well, and the number 40. Okay, let's see what they want me to tell you from the book in regards to these messages. Sometimes aspects of our life fall apart or don't go to plan. This is so they can come back together in a beautiful new way. Trust in the goodness and the inevitable blessings of your destiny falling into place. Heavy, heavy hanging over your head. Hey, hey, look up here, look up here. Remember what I said? My grandmother used to turn the cup. That water, that cleansing water falling down on the head, bringing in the wishes, the wisdom, the understanding, connecting to the heart. Trust in the goddess, in the inevitable blessing of your... Wait, I want to make sure I didn't lose my placement. Yeah, trust in the goddess and the inevitable blessings of your destiny falling into place. Do not trust your fears. Do not trust your fears. Them people who call you to come over here because this is what everybody who's so-called normal is doing, right? And you find yourself not wanting to deal with that, so you go into seclusion, therefore cutting yourself off even from those people and those places and those things that are blessings to you. That's giving into fear a little bit there. Let that go. You are no longer meant to be in solitude. If that was the answer you were looking for here, that ain't it, boo-boo. Okay? Put your faith in the love of your heart. A heartfelt wish is going to manifest. Let's go to 33. You shall overcome all obstacles, aka Eye of the Tiger, right? Success is imminent, so stay connected to your path no matter what and continue to apply yourself. Allow your spiritual path to support you in all areas of your life. Live by your spiritual beliefs. Seek out the support of your spiritual brothers and sisters, aka soul family, soul tribe. I said what I said. For help when needed. But also trust that you are intimately and directly connected to the powerful divine light within. I was almost about to say light wisdom, which is the name of my podcast. So some of you may resonate with that podcast, but again, you might see the wisdom inside yourself to be the equivalent of light wisdom. Wisdom that travels through the different connections and spaces of time, not because time isn't linear. It travels through all existence. All existence is connected to a light, a tone, a color, a shape, a shift. Even darkness itself is another form of light. All of it comes together to create the different realities that you can either manifest, or that you already live in. So connecting to that might be something very significant to someone here. Light wisdom. That term may resonate with some of you more than just light within. There can be a dramatic healing breakthrough when you rely upon your spiritual connection. eye of the tiger. Once you have the focus, once spirit gives you the focus, you listen, you go, you follow, you start controlling the elements, you start bringing order to the chaos. Wow. Okay, number 40. Value what is sacred to you by protecting it from interference. Even that which may be well intended. Be compassionate, but set firm boundaries. You are going to triumph over a negative situation. It will take courage, eye of the tiger reference again, but you have more than enough inner strength, resourcefulness, and boldness. You can't make that up. And boldness to accomplish what you wish to attain. Do not give up. You have the ability to connect with higher worlds, so open your heart and mind to light. How many times did we talk about opening the heart and not shying away from your gifts? Baby, let's go on to the next oracle. Because at this point, at this juncture, wow. Dark Angel. That's number 30, and we got number 40 here. Something about threes as well, and zeros. Wow. Wow. You can't make this up, babes. I feel like someone here has two different colored eyes. Not contacts, but you have two different color eyes. Maybe one is hazel, the other's dark brown, or one is blue and brown. Like David Bowie. David Bowie had one blue eye, one hazel eye. That's significant for someone here. You see two worlds all the time and you don't realize it. Or again, you realize it, but you hide it. And they just spoke about you being able to see worlds and having the eye of the tiger. Some of you, each eye connects to a different realm of vision. You might have a hard time explaining that to people. How sometimes you can look at them and you'll see like the physical form, and then you look at them again and you see the spirit form. That could also be another reason why you were secluding yourself. You see things that others, it's not craziness, it's not, it's not something telling you to do a bad thing. It's just you seeing the truth in people. And you know how you get your confirmation. You may not always trust in it right away. However, it's always proving itself. If you look at somebody and they have a murky energy, they end up being a murky person. They got a lot of ish going on with them. They tend to bring a lot of ish around other people that they hang with. This is an ability that you're capable of seeing. Ascension energy, babes. Higher vibrational energy. Somebody here comes from a family of high priestess, a family of shaman and shamaness. It's been in every incarnation that you've taken. Your whole message is based on spirituality, and right here where the 40 is, we get the 41. Spiritual decree. And look at the hair. It's all the cosmos. All the different planets. This person is not bound to one-dimensional or two-dimensional frame of thinking or self. Not even three. This person is allowing themselves to be open to all the vast different points and focus and energy of themselves. Focus is the key word for y'all here. It keeps coming out. I keep hearing it over and over. I'm trying not to say it as many times as I'm hearing it, but someone here needs to realign their focus. You're going through this ascendant state, through this ascension. You're somebody who has to learn to embrace yourself, and that includes the shadow aspect of yourself. I'm not getting dark angel like a wicked thing. Intuitively, this is channeling as a part of yourself that you were cloaking, you had hidden. I mean, the fact that this character's dressed kind of witchy too, different, not like everyone else. Embrace this part of yourself. You're ascending out of some type of shadow form, shadow energy. Okay? You're listening to your gift of insight, and you're allowing it to take you to places you wouldn't have otherwise went. And in doing so, that is your spiritual decree. You start to accept these gifts and who you are and what you are wholeheartedly. You no longer allow somebody else to be a blade and shield against you. POW 2. I was going to go to the book for these, but they're telling me no, that's not necessary. This is how they want you to understand the message. They want you to resonate on these images. They want you to listen to what the images are saying to you, especially from these 3 cards. My darlings, did I say POW 3? Because this is POW 2. The number 3 is also significant here. 30, 33, 333. I don't feel like this is just about you seeing the number over and over again. I feel like when you look up the meaning for you, for, you know, a specific spiritual property, that's what's going to stand out to you. Sometimes when you guys look up these numbers, don't just look up angel numbers. Yes, there's an angel energy here and that might resonate. Look up what different, you know, deity meanings are to it. Look up what different cultural meanings are there, or instead of putting an angel number, just put in what is the spiritual meaning. Don't just look at something from one avenue. Remember, the elven wisdom is guiding you to tap into something from within, and is telling you to look higher than what you're used to. Don't limit your search to just Google. You know what I mean? Look beyond that. Get into archives, get into books, get into talking to masters. So many things were passed down word of mouth and was passed down through symbolisms. Pay attention, learn from that as well. Do not restrict yourself. Do not bar yourself into one avenue. There was another favorite reader today that kept bringing up Google, so I find it funny that I was moved to say don't just rely on Google. Don't just trust what pops up on the internet alone. And when it does pop up, how is it speaking to you? That's going to be what's most true for you. Wow. POW 2. That was your message. Peace, love, and light, beautiful soul. All right, POW 3. We are now channeling for you. You chose this gorgeous baby and the energy of the mermaids. Let's ring you in. And again, remember that this is a collaboration, so make sure that you click the link in the description to check out Smiling Mountain Lake Tarot's channel as well. Her message for this category as well. Your vibration, there's something about the shore, waiting by the shore and sitting at the top of the bay, because I keep hearing that song, sitting at the top of the bay, watching the clouds roll away, or something like that. There's something to that energy of sitting at the top of the bay, sitting by the shore, healing waters, but also seeing what the water brings you. I'm getting a vision in my mind's eye of something washing up on shore, like something coming from the sea. You know how people used to put message in a bottle and send it off and hope that it reaches the other end of the shore? There's something to that for this collective. I feel like you're meant to go to the water, you know, cleanse before you do this. Actually cleanse before you get to the water. And then if you live near a body of water, it can be a lake, a stream, a beach, a bay. Sit and just say to the water what it is that you would like to flow towards you, what it is that you want to see come in your life. Be very specific, but also make sure you're coming from a place of authenticity and honesty. Don't go by the water burdensome. I feel like in that sense, you might give it something you don't mean to. Instead, let it know what you want to flow into your life. Only speak of what you want to flow towards you. Okay, let's see what your message is about, POW 3. What's the mermaid energy saying to you? Wow. And off the bat, we have the Hierophant. And notice that she is sitting and writing some type of note, right? She's notating something. She's writing a story, writing something into existence, into law, fully committed to that which she's putting on the paper. Maybe you're meant to write down some key manifestations that you're trying to bring in, something that you're working on. It's like you already know there's a big payoff. You know that a higher spirit, a higher source is guaranteeing you success. But there's just certain areas where you feel maybe a little block, Could be creator's block, like sometimes people get writer's block, sometimes people get content block. Something feels a bit blocky in your system. This is coming through like writing a petition to your ancestors and taking it by the sea, by the water. It's very significant. Okay. And we have the Page of Pentacles. Look at that rainbow. Rainbows, waterfalls. That's interesting because I mentioned waterfalls in Pile 2. Rainbows and waterfalls are very significant. I believe it was Pile 2. Was it Pile 2 I mentioned waterfalls, or was that Pile 1? It was one of them. Those messages were very strong. But there's definitely something to this energy. In fact, around her, you see these bubbles. Like bubbling ideas, bubbling creative ventures, needing to study them, needing to hone in, and then take what you've honed into and implement it somehow. An opportunity to see beyond some type of veil, beyond some type of waterfall is significant. I'm hearing, this is hilarious considering what this song channels for normally, but it's a little different this time. I'm hearing I look once more just around the river's bend. That's the song from the Pocahontas movie. I look once more just around the river bend, beyond the shore waiting for me. Now that song has been channeling for other stuff that shall not be mentioned here right now, but at this present moment there's something just around the corner, just around the river's edge, at the shore. Something that you're committed to learning, something that you're committed to spreading the knowledge about. It's given to you, it's handed to you as an opportunity, and it's like you're trying to figure out what all to do with it. Very exciting. Very exciting energy. Ooh, come through. Mermaid energy, yes. Be very mindful. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Thank you. Confirmation. Someone has to be mindful of when you do any kind of practice, right? And you're trying to bring in prosperity. When you're in the midst of that prosperity practice, that prosperity ritual, that's what you want to focus on. Now, every now and then you might feel moved or compelled to say something good and then remove whatever could be blocking this energy, right? But I feel like for those of you who chose Pile 3, whatever you're working on, when you're sitting in your prayers, your meditation, however you go about calling in this energy, focus only on that. Cleanse before you ask for anything. Take a cleansing shower. If you have a bathtub, take a cleansing shower beforehand and then get in your sacred bath. Okay? Then when you've calmed down, you're relaxed, you're aligned, you're focused, now you can sit and you can just let's see what spirit's channeling to you. This is the Hierophant. Deals a lot with the spiritual realm and traditions. Sit down and see what's coming to you, whether it's through your ancestry, whether it's just your own higher self channeling, whatever, however. And then when you go to sit in meditation to manifest it, you see how this person's holding this coin and there's this feeling of excitement, enlightenment. Look at the fairies, look at the wonder. That's the energy you want to focus on. The wonder, the excitement. I already have it. It's here in my hands. Doesn't matter if it's not physically where you are yet, you're manifesting it. But if you go to that water, or even if this isn't you going physically to the water, even if this is you manifesting into a jar. For those of you who know, you know what I'm talking about when I say an open jar of water or an open bottle of water. But if you focus on what you don't want, you'll be sabotaging yourself. If you think, oh, I want this really nice thing. Oh, I hope such and such doesn't come in and ruin it all. Oh, I hope it don't rain and that. You get what I'm saying? Don't put things into your manifestations that you don't want to have in your space. Don't allow energy that doesn't know what it's doing to come up and interfere with the madness. This is another thing that I talk about a lot of times. Be mindful of allowing people in your space, especially when you're doing certain sacred practices, who have a tendency of mocking or, oh, it's just a game. This is all make-believe, blah, blah, blah. Because their vibration can cause for negative energy to try to seep through them. Doesn't have to always be something's coming through you. Sometimes it can come through another person. So instead of battling who could be doing what and where and why, exclude them from whatever you're doing. Do your practices for yourself, amongst yourself for right now. When the time comes for you to present that knowledge, should you be one who's meant to do that, you'll be led to the right circumstances to do so. Not everybody needs to be in your meditative pool. When you're manifesting, focus on what's going to help you get to where you're trying to go so that you can be in the best position to then bring others along if necessary. If you're doing a business, you're manifesting this. How is this going to work for you? What do you want to be able to do with it? Envision that you're already doing it, and most importantly, feel it like you already have it. What would it feel like to have that successful company? What would it feel like to have loyal employees? What would it feel like to have that successful new home that you wanted? Whatever it is. But be mindful of letting people kind of seep in your energy with negative intent, because there's something about either self-sabotage or being sabotaged by another because of some type of naivety as well. For example, they're all playing with these swords, right? And this one here cuts themselves. Now the other's been swinging these swords at each other. Not near one of them cut themselves, but this one did. And now this one's coming over like, there, child. Couldn't you tell it was sharp? Why did you test it against your skin? Couldn't you tell when you picked it up that it was sharp, it was shiny, it was pointy? Something in your instincts had to have let you know this was dangerous. You don't always have to see something to know if vibes are trying to tell you that it's not going to work for you. But there's something to, hey, be mindful of who you have around you when you're trying to manifest certain things or you're doing certain practices. For those of you who maybe you practice your manifestations or your rituals amongst people for some reason. It's your business, but just be mindful who it is. And when you are thinking about things you want to bring in, stay in this energy. Stay in that I'm willing to explore the knowledge mentality. Stay in that all things are given to me to use to my fullest capacity. Don't enter this Five of Swords realm. Normally this Five of Swords can be like, hey, you were the victor. You know, you won, go off. But this person cut themselves, not paying attention, not being, again, respect the energies too. Someone, when they channel, they write very fast when they're channeling, right? Or they sketch very fast. Some of you will be better at recording what you channel and then going by some type of body of water or working with water when it comes to diving into deeper answers, explanations, and how to implement the energy that you're picking up on, right? Because best believe thy cup will runneth over. You're planting new seeds and they're coming from deep within the depths of your emotions. So what I like about this card, it shows seed plant life in the cup, pulling together that vibration. Once again, this is also giving by the shore energy. You know, like when you don't have to dive too far. You can just swim in, go down just a little bit, and you can see all of the different seaweed and plant life that's under there. There's something to that energy. Seaweed is also very healing for somebody that's watching. Not giving medical advice, just channeling. But there's something to this vibration of, look at how this plant life, the sea plant life, grows under the water, breathes and flows and constantly expands under this water, while at the same time still representing the depth of emotions. You ever notice how plants under the water look like they're dancing? They're just swaying, sort of like how trees and leaves do in the breeze. Well, for plant life under the water, they're constantly swaying, because not only is there always a flow of some kind happening, right? Up in the air, you know, there's always air, but the wind has to blow a certain way for us to really take time to notice that the grass and the leaves and everything is moving all at once. At least for those who maybe aren't as receptive, right? For some of us, we always notice it. We always see it to some capacity. It's something about you being in this emotional state of flow where you can just sway with this energy. You're definitely a very magical person. We got the Queen of Wands here. Everything that you want, everything that you believe you're seeking is already seeking you. Everything that you would need to pull with what you're seeking towards you or to stand out to it flows from out of you. Something in your life in a very positive way is about to erupt. Very important for you to understand. There's a magic coming to the surface from you, but it's not coming from deep underground in the sense of, you know, strong vines and roots like we got in one of the other piles. For you, it's coming as the floor. It's like the sea floor. There's plants coming up near the shore, Every now and then something breaks off from, you know, an underground rock or surface of the floor, and then it floats its way to the top. It comes onto the beach. The blessing comes onto the beach. This is how it's being given to me by this mermaid energy. It flows onto the beach. You are a magnet. You're a walking magnet, and it's very important that you be the person that decides what you are pulling towards you. And again, be mindful of some people around you who play with things they do not understand and they don't respect it. Now, respect and integrity can translate differently to different people, but some ish is just obvious, right? Somebody come in, they're disrespecting your altar, they gotta go. You know, everything's not for everybody. In this instance, in this case, someone needed that heads up, because maybe you're trying to teach someone something, but you're still a student yourself right now. And at least you respect the energies. Someone else you might be talking to may not. Also, be mindful of self-sabotage. Be mindful of allowing yourself to enter a negative mentality when you are trying to focus on manifesting something good. When your brain starts to get in the way, think about something creative, fun, or exciting that you can do to change it. I say a lot of times meditation is art for some people. You know what I mean? As an artist, I might sit and draw. I might sing something. I might, well, I need to get back into doing the dancing part a lot. I've been hella busy, right? But even then, I have to remind myself, hey, movement. Movement is a great way to bring in new energy, to bring in prosperity. And it gives you a chance to listen maybe to a song or to a melody or frequency that's of a high vibration. So anything that tried to enter your mind that didn't go along with that manifestation, that didn't go along with that thing you're working on, it doesn't get a chance to penetrate through. Now, it's not telling you to ignore your problems, but it's saying, are we focused on solutions or just the problem being there itself? Are we focusing on what we're truly committed to and wanting to bring in, or are we allowing our minds to drift into competition territory, maybe drift into conflict and issue territory? Because we don't need no conflict, right? We don't want that. We want this cup right here. We want this beautiful cup filled with all of this lush plant life, underwater plant life, which is like abundance and richness. It feels like a cup of richness. It almost feels like it's a treasure chest, but this treasure chest is coming from your emotions first. It comes from what you feel. You have to feel good. You have to feel confident. You have to feel like you're doing something amazing. And when you are in doubt, just remember that this energy is here representing you. Be you masculine or feminine. If you're masculine, this is feminine fire. This is creation. This is pure magic, the most potent form of magic. This is also, you're about to erupt. Okay? Now for some of y'all, y'all might take that to mean something a little different. But it feels like something very magical and powerful is erupting in your life, and you're just going to see this constant overflow of prosperity, whether it comes in as money. If somebody wasn't feeling healthy, it could be good health. Your creative ventures taking off. This is a very ambitious queen, but she's ambitious and still connected to the nature of things. She pays attention to what is the most potent in her energy, and she goes, that, I want that. Psh, draws it in. She never really has to move. Everything that she seeks comes to her because it's already seeking her. That's important for someone here. Yeah. Don't wreck your mind. Don't wreck your mind trying to expect everything to be logical. It's got to make sense to my brain. It's got to make sense to my brain. You're going to drive yourself crazy with that. And, you know, be mindful of what's clawing at your consciousness a bit here. And I'm also hearing for someone, you need to stop ignoring your guides. Some of you keep getting messages, whether it's through dreams, whatever, from your guides, and you keep writing it off. And something will happen to prove the point, but you'll write it off again and again. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Be very careful that you don't confuse a message that's coming in to aid you, maybe even give you a bit of a warning, as something that's just pestering you, just driving you crazy, so you just ignore it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't know what that's about, and because I don't know what it's about, I'm just not going to listen to it. Instead, okay, I heard it. When the time comes for it to make sense to me, it will. Or even ask them, hey, make sense out of this thing that I'm picking up on, because I'm not getting it right now. And then give them an example of something that may help you when it comes to a thing making sense to you. But again, be very mindful to not self-sabotage, and be very mindful to not allow yourself to be sabotaged by others. Someone may have a person around them that doesn't have their best interests at heart. It weighs heavy on your mind, very, very heavy on your mind, because you might care a lot about that person. You might not want to think that that individual means you any harm, and maybe they don't mean you harm, but they definitely, it's kind of like, I want what you have. If I can't get what you have, you shouldn't have it either. And as effed up as that is, some people's brain are just conditioned weird, okay? Wired weird. Be careful of that. But again, there's something you could be overthinking, clawing at the conscience of your brain, and you're kind of ignoring it when your guides come in to assist you with it, and they're saying stop doing that. Now we have the magician energy here. Again, you're very resourceful. Look at this ball of energy. You're very resourceful. Don't get it twisted. Don't stress your brain out. Okay? Simplify what it is you're trying to do where it needs to be. Maybe, maybe some areas sometimes need to be a little more complex, a little more detailed. That's fine. But simplify areas in certain. It's just like it's too much. It's like almost as if somebody's thoughts are too cluttered. It's almost as if, again, when somebody's sitting down to try to practice on their rituals or practice whatever your ritual is, writing, magic arts, business, whatever, a thing that you do repetitively over and over, you're supposed to enjoy it, but someone is kind of wrecking their brain too much with it, and you're not listening sometimes when your guides are coming through to assist you, and it's kind of irking them, because I'm feeling a little irked by it for them. So that tells me that they're kind of like raising their brow at you, like, hey, you're asking for these blessings, you're asking for these signs and these symbols, we're giving them to you. We're telling you, don't freeze yourself off, don't sabotage yourself, be mindful of hanging around the people that we warned you are no good. We're bringing you something with far more depth than what that over there is offering to you. So don't fall for that. Don't fall for that joke. Listen to what we're saying. Learn how to understand the inner guidance. Learn how to understand. I feel like you have to understand and understand. Understand is you being able to get to the bottom and look up and see all of what's under that. And if it's kind of gooky, if it's kind of murky, you clean it up. Then you're able to get to, it's like the mud in the water. Then you're able to get to the part where you can see the plant life, and you can see the bubbles and the flowing of the fish and everything. You look around, you get what you're supposed to get from that, and then you swim up, swim up, swim up until finally you break from the water. You inhale the air, and you remember something, that you were able to breathe both in the water and above the water. There's something about the mermaid growing feet, walking on land, and then taking the fin to get back in the water. This being able to walk between realms, walk between different types of energies and magic, that is significant to your story. Very significant. And it's telling you, you've got the resources to do this. So don't let this get in the way of that. Pay attention to your resources. Pay attention to what you're capable of. Be respectful to the energies you work with. Let them show you the way so that you don't unnecessarily get hurt, okay? It's not about saying that something's going to be really easy. But, sometimes some challenges can be fun, honey. You got to look for the excitement and the fun in something. The Page of Pentacles knows that what they're given comes with a great responsibility. They also know that whatever it is they're trying to learn about may have a lot of different levels to it, but they're excited by it. It's like a kid who loves Harry Potter getting to go to Hogwarts. You know what I mean? Like, what? I'm going to Hogwarts? Which team am I joining up? Like, you know what I mean? They start planning for which team they want to be on, and etc. It's like knowing that you're going to get in, knowing that you're going to be on the perfect team for you. If they ain't got nowhere to put you, they're going to invent some new-ish just so they have somewhere to train you. It's that kind of energy. And I feel like you're a multifaceted person. There's more than one type of gift or talent to you. You've got to see how the gradient works. And we have the beautiful and gorgeous star card. Funny, because this card came out in another reading. I'm not going to say which, though. If you're led to look at it, you'll know which. But notice how, what did I just say? It's like under is being able to be in the so deep in the depth of water that you can actually see like the murky, muddy surface under the water. You break through that. You're at the level where you see the plant life and the fish, and you start to see the reflection of the sky under the water. It's like it's giving a whole new world energy, right? Then you break through the surface. Boom. Now you're able to realize, oh, snap. I can breathe when I'm diving deep and coming from the deep, but I can also breathe when I actually break for air at the surface of the water. I'm able to be between two different dimensional planes, an emotional and a physical plane. I'm able to flex between both. Therefore, when I tap in, I can pull resources from either or. Here's another fun fact. Lava, the cool thing about lava, if there's some type of, like, say, underwater area where the lava can come up, it will come up and it will still give off steam or some type of indication to say, hey, this is the hot spot right here. I feel like something's doing that for you. Something under this water, under the depths of your emotions, under whatever you're trying to create, it's going to show you where the hot spots are, where the most potent energetic energies are. Now, in this star card, this is you sounding off the seashell, sending this beautiful melody up to the sky saying, hey, I'm ready for that blessing now. I'm ready for it right here. I realized I had to come from the depths up to the surface. That was how my cleansing worked. That was how I renewed myself. Now I'm ready to receive. And there you are, in that energy, in that prosperous position that you've been asking for a long time now. We're going to get into your oracle cards. And as we get into your oracle cards, we're going to let this energy channel through. Still coming from the mermaids, but I also want to see what comes from the inner you, like your inner source. In fact, we'll do this one second because of that. We're going to do this one first. So we're going to get the mermaid guardians first. And then we'll go into this deck to kind of get messages from your higher self. That's how I'm feeling to do your group pile 3. How can the mermaids clarify your message? You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Stop. Turn away from what doesn't work. Turn away from anything that's trying to take you off of your path. Be mindful of self-sabotage. Again, they're saying it again. There's something to it. Instead, move forward with mighty steps and with mighty vibrations. If you were a mermaid under the sea, imagine that you're moving so fast and your moves are so strong that you can almost part the water under the water. That you look like this zoom. It looks like an engine under the water. You know, like when people are in a boat and you can see like the above the water and under the water, you see how fast the boat's moving because of how the bubbles look. That's you. Okay, powering through it. Move forward with powerful energy. Turn away from what doesn't work and move forward with powerful energy. Then we have magic. What have we been talking about this whole time? You being able to manifest. Look at this. The magician. You were given the lessons. You're being given the wisdom. They're saying, hey, write down what we tell you. Also, write down what it is that you're trying to do. Make sure it's coming from the most authentic place. Take it by the shore. Let us know. We're going to carry it out. And then like a tidal wave, we'll bring it back into you. Do you see it? And here we have the student, the one who gets the lessons, the prime pupil, the one who learns, masters it. Once they master it, they become the wielder. Always open to learn new ways, but they start to realize, wow, all of this resource is at my disposal. The magic was within me the whole time. That's why I was able to absorb this energy. This is you having that realization. Okay? Trust the process. Don't be afraid. Don't let your own mind, again, fill you up with so much anxiety or fill you up with so much stress that you don't heed the message. You don't pay attention to the symbols and signs because you're afraid of maybe where you're going to fail, or perhaps a message didn't make much sense. Sometimes your guardians and your guides will also give you warnings. They try to they give it to you in a way you can understand. You just have to allow yourself to understand it and understand it. You have to open up yourself to that. You can't shun something off just because you don't want it to be that way. Right? Always use your discernment. You can always ask for confirmations and fact check things. You're allowed to do that. But don't just completely ignore. Know what is the inner voice. Know what is your guardians and guides. And know what might be outside influences trying to get you to do negative things, because you'll be the only one getting hurt if you don't heed. Okay? Trust the process of a higher energy, of a higher divine. And notice how she's under the water, completely surrounded by different plant life and fish life. You can't listen. Can't make it up, babes. Can't make it up. We're going to get one more from them. And then we're going to move into the other cards. Hopefully my background, it's like a lot of noise going on. So hopefully my background isn't bothering y'all. We have patience. Look at that. Look at how she's meditating in the depths of these water amongst the seaweed and everything. This is you. When you're in this meditative practice, practice patience. Know that you are singing. I'm hearing singing in the sense that melodies are important, harmonies. You don't have to be a singer, but there's certain frequencies and harmonies that are attracting you and calling you to listen. Listen to them. See what you manifest from that. There are certain sounds that help some of you to be patient. Some of you might be a bit scattered brain, or you're easily distracted with things. Music or melodies or a consistent pattern helps you. Be patient with yourself with this, because you're calling in your magic here. You're having to come out of yourself, go up into the sky, and then what rains down from the sky is your success. There's a sound of like somebody yelling or celebrating in the other room. Again, hopefully that doesn't bother you, but maybe take it as a sign that there's something you'll be celebrating soon, something you'll be cheering, okay? Let's get messages from your higher self. A higher part of you that is connected to the deep waves, the seashores, and the bay. Sitting at the top of the bay, watching the tides and the clouds. Oh, let it rain. Wow. And look at how she's just laying there basking. Some of y'all might need to, on a good night, we don't want you to get sick, but on a good night, if it's raining, go ahead, put like a blanket out there and just let the rain come down. Listen, rain and waterfalls are some of the best ways to cleanse. Always be safe. Always be mindful of your surroundings, of course. That's natural water. It's like going to a natural spring. If you have the benefit of swimming in some type of natural spring, again, safely, do so, because that right there is what our ancestors did. You understand? Like, they worked with the elements. They didn't just depend upon a man-made thing. So when you can get in tune with nature that way, you can just lay on a rock and let the rain. Come on now, somebody already does this. Let it rain, allowing what is. The fact that the word trust is here again. Trust. Trust yourself, trust the gifts, trust in the signs. They're coming to you the way they are for a reason. And remember I said, sitting at the top of the bay, watching the clouds roll away or roll by. Clouds. Healing rain, cleansing rain. Clouds that are here to purify. The rainbow, remember I told y'all rainbows are significant? There's the rainbow again. Peep the patterns, peep the synchronicities. Somebody sees rainbows and swear that they see like calligraphy. You are. Trust in the process. The water oracle, psychic abilities. Listen. Acting on visions. Patience. Working your magic through how you are using your resources. Trusting the process. Clear water, clear vision, confirmation, right timing, and of course opportunity is also there, which we can also connect to that Page of Pentacles energy as well. An opportunity that you come to have, but you have to like kind of learn how to utilize it. You'll be the best at it though. The Page of Pentacles is the best at whatever they learn, and when they're bringing information, it's very knowledgeable information. It's an opportunity of a lifetime type of thing. It's like you got the golden ticket. You get to go to the Willy Wonka factory. Don't know why that channeled through. That's for somebody. Clear waters though. Your higher self is agreeing with this Mer energy that's channeling right now. If you can get to the water, get to the water. If not, work with the water that you have at your disposal. Like, again, take a cup, work with a cup of water. Put water around you when you're trying to meditate. Listen to the sound of rainwater. Though wishing well, unexpected gifts, kindness, karmic jewels. This is where karma gives you good energy. This is where karma goes, okay, I see that good vibe you put out there. Here you go. Here's your benefit. Here's your payoff. Be mindful of that 5 of Swords. Be careful how you're reading what you think might be a Nine of Swords energy, like something that could be giving you anxiety or stressing you, might actually be trying to just give you the heads up of something. Be mindful of negative thoughts clawing at your brain, blocking certain messages, blocking certain blessings. You are the writer of your story. You've got to be committed to how you tell it. The library of you is always written by you and the actions that you take. There are supporting characters. There are guides, of course. There are spiritual awarenesses that take place, obviously. But ultimately, the reason all decisions are up to you is because no one else has to live your life but you. Understand, though, everything you do and everything you don't do, it contributes and continues in the tapestries of life. It connects to other people. You might think that not going somewhere means that you're not affecting people. It actually, you are. If you're meant to be somewhere, if you're meant to interact with a certain energy and you just don't go, guess what? You hiccuped that situation for more than just yourself. You go somewhere, you're that blessing, you bring that prosperity, you bring those gifts, those talents, those resources. And what happens? Everything that's meant to benefit from it will benefit from it. You just have to be mindful of sometimes who you're sharing your gifts with, or maybe people who are trying to steer you and it's coming off as trying to control you. Use your discernment to know the difference, okay? But we're going to stop your reading right here. Pile 3, I pray that that resonated for you, that it gave you the clarity that you need, that you also see the magic of who you are. Comment below your takeaways, and of course, make sure that you guys check out who I'm collaborating with, Smiling Mountains Lake Tarot. It's a long name. Make sure that you guys check it out. And I will see you and catch you next time. Peace, love, and light, beautiful babies. If you enjoy the vibe around here, be sure to subscribe and, of course, check out my Oracle decks. See you next time.